kipindi chaitwa Metamorphosis. Jifundishe, elimika na mwelimike.
What men want and what they will, working for a dollar bill. Sad to see the old slave mills, grinding slow but grinding still. Walking home, a youth gets killed, police free to shoot at will. Sad to see the old slave mill, it's grinding slow but grinding still. 9 to 5, you know the drill, weekends are a short-lived thrill. Sad to see the old slave mill, it's grinding slow but grinding still. Cover on it over till it spill, take until they've had their fill. Sure hurts to see the old slave mill, grinding slow but grinding still.
All praise unto the Most High, His last year. Rastafari, abolish slavery right now. Pharaoh let my children go. Hey. Africa prepare, 'cause I'm coming home. Black man prepare, 'cause we going home. Africa prepare, I and I coming home. People prepare, 'cause we are going home. The joy you bring you, my song I sing you, the fire within you, the struggle continue. Let us begin you. We got to win you, prosecute and trim you, still persecuting you. Got to be bold and brave, they call you. Settlers, they call you. Free slave, now look at you. With the length of days, give praise. Fire off the blaze. Africa prepare, 'cause I'm coming home. Black man prepare, 'cause we going home. Africa prepare, I and I coming home. People prepare, 'cause we are going home. No equal rights, not justice. No schools, no jobs. The more they use the bookies. They do some farming, me get up, blow up, me progress. Babylon can't touch this. Look to the east for the crowning of your king. That's the way you are should go. Best most I ever live in God a place. And I'm living in a right flow. Africa prepare, 'cause I'm coming home. Black man prepare, 'cause we going home. Africa prepare, I and I coming home. People prepare, 'cause we are going home. They're spreading propagandas because they want to start a thing. And the backstabbers, they slander and they chat all sort of thing. No, I'm the light of the world. What a thing. Bundum Rome, Bundum Babylon, they can't stop fighting. They always fight for us. Them not go make me
Metamorphosis.
I come to lead the man.
Metamorphosis.
Them a chat.
Metamorphosis.
I want Bubbles and teeth, repatriation. Tell them redemption. I want think him and say repatriation. Bongo Naya, woo. Africa prepare, 'cause I'm coming home. People prepare, 'cause we are going.
Take us away from Africa with the intention to steal our culture. The good for the boss buy and say, humble yourself, my little one. Humble yourself, my children. Humble yourself. Oh, my brother, oh, while you're done, me love in Africa. Love my nation, my interpretation, love universal. down in this valley, down in this valley, down in this valley of the West. Where is your love, Jamaica? Where is your love, Jamaica? Where is your love, Jamaica? I can see your love, I can feel your love, I even touch your love. I don't know about your love. Tell them the way to love one another. What oh, too higher than I need.
Metamorphosis. Greetings, greetings, greetings. Eli, Eli. Tinastilin, Tinastilin. Metamorphosis. Styles FM. Dr. Iman Black, your host. Give thanks for another occasion to engage in thinking, to have a situation where for a moment you drop your guard and you're no longer afraid to think. Yeah, we're still in the month of November and we're moving ever so slowly to end of another calendar year, where people begin to organize their resources to spend and to spend and to expend. Resources, hard to come by, disappear so quickly. In the season, we call it a season for collecting people's hard-earned money, all around trivialities and rituals that are alien. And yet the people say it's just for the children. Oh, it's only for the children. Well, the children become adults, so the thing will never change. So if I move away from that idea of just doing things for the children need guidance. So we must put some consciousness behind what we are supporting. So I'm saying from early, hold on to your money December. Be as mean as a miser. Hold on to your money. Let them advertise and advertise. Yes, Styles welcome all advertisers. You see the man in the street, we have to begin to get more conscious and more aware of money as an instrument, as a tool. And there's nothing moral that surrounds money. It's a source of power. And we want to move away from being powerless. Nothing wrong with being good, but to be good and powerless is a cute position. So here again, I'm going to go through some reason we want to engage the item in an area of reasoning that is not often discussed. Because, you know, we're not trained to reason. We just kind of quarrel and it's either my way or your way and go on about the business. We want to break that barrier and allow for reasoning to flow. So we want to investigate things that have been in the earth long before us. But sometimes we don't have the time nor the space to engage in query. Well, the studio is full tonight. All kind of energies. All male, of course, in this moment. But that's how it go. Sometimes the man them have to come together, you know, to organize themselves as males. Because there are a lot of issues about males becoming females and females becoming males and who is in charge and who is not in charge. And the whole identity of and role is under scrutiny. So we're there with some man, and we're going to introduce the man them as we go through, and each man have something poignant to say towards the whole movement of the black people, the whole struggle, the whole way of how do we transform ourselves from descendants of slaves to liberated conscious people. So if we shake off that title too, you know, about descendants of slaves. We have a leg of that because we weren't always slaves. We could also be descendants of kings and queens. Depends on what part of history we choose to focus on. So, metamorphosis here. we're going to be investigating what is called inspiration. And we're asking the question from the beginning, what is an inspiration? How does one get an inspiration? Where does it come from? Does it come from above? Does it come from below? Does it come from the side? Is there such a thing as divine inspiration? And is divine always good, or is there divine bad? So we're checking out the nature of inspiration, because we tend to apply this term to a lot of the books that we read. And therefore these books go beyond question. So of course we question all things that are questionable here. And then within the metamorphosis, there's another area of thing time I want to deal with, and I'm throwing it out early. We want to investigate the concept and the idea of what is called the Trinity. There was that bad man, cowboy, bad man policeman in Jamaica one time to call himself Trinity, you know. Yeah, but we want to look at the term Trinity because it's a very important psychological concept within black people's education in the Western world. But I want us to look at the term not just within religion, but within culture, within science, within history. What is the meaning of it? The Trinity? And what are the symbolisms behind the number 3? Why is the Trinity so important? And are we Trinitarian beings within our own construction? Metamorphosis. Can't really hear the harmony in the studio yet, you know. We're not bring them in yet because we're going to surprise this to say I want to know who are these people, but I'm going to tell you, know, it's artists and performers and man of culture and knowledge, you know. But before we even bring in that, I also want to mention a few issues that are topical and on the surface. You know, congratulations and things and compliments tend to sweeten your effort, you know. When you people are congratulated and shown some form of appreciation, love for what they've done. You know, so Jamaica do something in the world of sports, again, that has never been done before. Never be, hey, this country here, you know, I'll tell you, them, you know, so we are more ancient than the African continent. The people here don't come from Africa, you know. Africans have come here to become conscious. We there thousands of years before. Just read Ivan Van Sertima. They came before Columbus. 20,000 BC, black man in this region. 20,000 years before the Christian era, you know. Who are those black people? The Olmecs and the Toltecs. Black culture. So the man them did ancient. So within this region, we have produced world standard people and personnel with what we call nothing, coming from nothing. What we call nothing is really no infrastructural support from government and society. We call that, when you come without that thing, we say you come from nothing. And we have done that in entertainment and in sports. Well, the latest champion that Jamaica has produced is a team in the field of rugby. Yeah, you know, so we qualify for a World Cup again in rugby. Rugby, you know, this time the team named the Reggae Warriors. Leg of the boy construct. A long time we never like that, you know. Yeah, and it's reggae boys and reggae girls. It's like, you know, you're still children. The Reggae Warriors. The man them defeat the mighty US. Hey, I tell you, you know, anything you give people an opportunity, especially black people, an opportunity to develop them talent in, they become super at it. If it's on the ice, it's in the water, it's in the air, it's on the basketball court, it's on the netball court, any arena where there's contestation within the framework of sports. Because you see, the tradition of sports is that everybody starts from the same position, level playing field. In the world of society, it's uneven because a lot of groups always have an advantage. But in the world of sports, like boxing, the ring is the same size. None of them can run away from one another. They have to stay in the square ring and beat it out. So we know who is superior. That's how we know, you know. Both of them have an even chance. None have any advantage. So you have to use your wits and your talent to survive. That's the nature of sports. And the black man has proven that in North American sports. In baseball, when the black man couldn't enter, he set up his own leagues. And when he finally penetrated the white leagues, he becomes the superstar. Basketball, NFL, hockey, tennis, you name it. You name it. It's a rugby now. Rugby don't even play in high school in Jamaica too tough. You see what I say? Not even high school we play rugby too tough. The girls go to the World Cup too. Regular girls reach the World Cup. This is incredible, you know. So can you imagine now? And this might be hard to imagine. Imagine the leadership. If they really take the people now, you know, them real concern. You imagine we will be world powers in everything. Everything we're touching now. People will be coming to Jamaica. We have to start put up borders, stop people from coming in. Do anything will be prosperous. So the point I'm making, we are so deep in talent in this island, and we are so deep in oppression by the nature of the leadership that oftentimes we have to run away to achieve anything, and then when we achieve, the same guy them come claim it. The same man them come and tell you about, you know, we're going to give you a title, we're going to give you an OJ, or we're going to give you an OD. OD really mean overdose, you know. When you get that, you're in trouble, you know. Yeah, them start roping in. So let me say, Reggae Warriors, I don't know the youth them, you know. I don't know none of them. But to get to the World Cup in 2019, them qualify already. I think it's a major, them need a parade around the country too. Yeah, the same way the reggae boys get it and the girls should get it, and we should really be emphasizing the contribution of our artists. Artists mean sportsmen and entertainers. And we know say in Jamaica plantation, these people are always asked to work for free. These people are just asked to give them talent because them have it. But when it comes to the material returns, there's a scarcity in Jamaica. And we are set to the ones. The leadership must begin to have a greater respect for entertainment and sport. Because this has been a strength to give black people a sense of identity and a sense of where them come from, a sense of unity, and ultimately, you know, it can be the platform for our political arguments, because we see where runners go to the Olympics and go on the podium and protest. We see where the cricketers can boycott South Africa. We see where sports is a powerful medium. It's just that those who are in control recognize it and try to keep it at a little watered down level. But we're going to rise. When we come forward again now, we're going to tell you who's here. because they have more things to say than I. Metamorphosis.
Anna sir, Tenastilin, Dana Xavier Jimasgan, Sata Amasagana.
This is it, originally. Thou shalt not steal, said the Almighty. The King of Kings is here, who rules eternally.
Honor and majesty is before him. A false witness shall not be unpunished, saith the Lord.
To eat from thine own vineyard is sweet to the soul,
but to steal from thy brethren is bitter to the belly.
Behold, how good and how pleasant it is.
Now the plantation, Jamaica, governed by Her Majesty and the Governor General, they are the ultimate authority on this plantation. And so what it really suggests is that the people of this country in general are not really in a sovereign state. And what is most evident of late now is that this thing about justice, where we need to have justice in the society, the ultimate appeal and court of justice in this Jamaican space is not on Jamaican island. It's not even in the Caribbean. Because now them have a big debate as to where should the final verdict rest. Should it rest in the Caribbean or should it rest in England? So they have a thing called the Privy Council. And if you really want to take your case to the highest level of justice, you have a bag of money to pay these QCs to take your case to sit in front of 3 white men in England. Because, you know, we see when it comes to morality, black people still don't think we have the ability to be moral. We still don't have that faith in our ability to be morally just. So coming like we can't trust each other to make high moral decisions, we still have to go to England. And they must drink up them rum and read up the documents and just say guilty. And we just stay up on the island and say, yes, the Privy Council said it. So all I'm saying to the island, we have to begin to take a certain amount of responsibility for our own actions. Is it that those men are more inspired? Is it that the men in England are so inspired that they can see the truth? So we come to the concept of inspiration. What is it that makes one man more truthful in what he's saying? Is it that him have a connection where you don't have team phone line up different? Or you have the wrong area code? Anyway, hear me now. Sitting in the seat is a man whose song we have been playing on Metamorphosis for 10 years. That's how long we're there now. It has been a part of a section that has been in every program. So everybody around the world now have been hearing this song for the last 10 years. And so for the first time now you're going to hear the artist. Because him have a voice, you know. Not just what you've been hearing. So we're going to give you the song. And then we're going to bring in the great MAROGHINI, historian.
through history of the past. We know that this conspiracy will not last. 'Cause we know our history. Who built the pyramid? We are.
Yeah, the sound is a haunting sound. It's called The Historian. It embodies what a section of the program called Alkibulan, our story is all about. So we're here in studio now for the first time. World premiere. Right here on Styles FM. Nowhere else in the world. Run, look, call your friend. Tell him, hurry up and come. MAROGHINI is here. MAROGHINI, greetings, my brother. Welcome to Styles FM and welcome to the Metamorphosis.
Greetings, greetings.
So what that mean now?
I am trapped.
Yes. This brother here now is a man who kind of hard to get to speak to, but he has his words in his songs and things. Though you might hear him talking low, because maybe he's not English, maybe he don't go into English yet, because the man have many languages too. So, MAROGHINI, tell us something about the song, Historian. Where that song really come from, because it get fixed into the Metamorphosis as a program.
Okay. My father is from Nigeria, and I visited the Gambia, I think probably about 30-something years ago. And the experience there was very moving. I remember the first day I went there. When I arrived, I headed to the beach, sat there, and in my mind's eyes, I could visualize what took place there during the slave trade.
In the Gambia?
In the Gambia, yes. I did a lot of research during my stay there, reasoning with elders in villages all over, in remote areas, and went to libraries, read a lot of books, and there's one book in particular that gave me the idea to do this song. Although the song is was inspired by my experience throughout the time in the Gambia, but this particular book was more or less kind of the trigger. And it's the book by Sheikh Anta Diop. Remind me of the title of that book again. The African Origin of Civilization.
Yes. African,
yeah.
right.
Yeah, after I read that book,
So hold on a minute now. This book now, The African Origin of Civilization.
Yeah.
You don't recommend that other people kind pick it up?
In fact, when I did the album on which you find this song,
yeah, I
wrote a book list, a recommended reading, and that book was included.
I read.
Yeah, I guess that's the story of the book. The inspiration.
Yeah. But when you say you got this while you're in Gambia, is just Gambia alone brought you to that experience, or you have experience in other countries in Africa?
I've been around Africa.
When you say around, you mean like a circle, like you just go around?
I've been to Senegal, Nigeria, and been all over Nigeria, all over Senegal, all over the Gambia. But the inspiration was on the first visit to Africa, which was the Gambia. It wasn't after going to Senegal or Nigeria.
So wait a something special about the Gambia, because you stay in the Gambia now, you're being to talk about ancient Egypt, or you stay there and see that?
No, it's not necessarily the thing is, I was so moved emotionally because it was my first time in Africa, on the African continent.
But you don't sound like a Jamaican. Is a Jamaican? Is a Jamaican?
I'm a citizen of the world.
All right. So you know anything about Jamaica? Within your world citizenry? So right now we are, you know that we are in this beautiful parish called Portland.
Yes, it's my favorite.
Your favorite? Why that? Why is that?
Because it's a paradise here, utopia.
What do you mean? You mean no crime, no violence, all for women and everything? That's what you mean?
Very little crime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plenty nice woman.
It is just sweet here.
Them say what's sweet for you, after a while not good for you. So what's school, The man went to school in Gambia, or you reach Gambia. Where you used to go to school? Are you just born big and just go to Africa?
No.
Or you come about?
Well,
Portland is paradise. You ever live here yet?
Yeah.
You live in Portland already? So Portland people them are surprised,
Really?
Yeah, man. Because them won't know say MAROGHINI used to live now. So I said, tell us about your roots in Portland. All of you have a connection. What is your roots?
Okay, my mother was the principal of Port Antonio High School.
No, man, you can't answer that and get away.
Oh.
Your mother was the principal of Port Antonio Comprehensive Secondary High School.
Yeah.
Your mother was the principal. So you're a good boy then when you're growing up. Well behaved boy. Seriously, that sounds good enough. Teacher pick me. So what? So you used to live in Portland them times?
I only spent 2 years.
In Portland?
2 school years. I just did 6th form here in Portland.
But I know that conference you never have a 6th form. So which part you do 6th form?
No, Titchfield.
Oh, you can't go get away without that either, man.
But I went
hold on, man.
Your school.
Hold on, man. People who live in Portland first, we want them to know with the eyes, Right? This is a man whose mother was a principal in this top school in Portland now. Because they move up power Titchfield. But they used to go to Titchfield too. So that's all. When you go to Titchfield, what you used to do on there? You never used to do nothing. Where you used to go on there, Titchfield?
Actually, there was a kind of school band.
All right.
And I was a member of that band.
So the one-man band, or is plenty man in the band?
A lot of people were in it.
Anybody around now who was in the band that's still around Port Antonio now?
Yeah, I can't remember his name. I think it's Tough, a guy who play bass guitar. He used to play for
Zaf?
Zaf, right.
Watch that now. Zaf live around, hey, Lanza. Oh, Lanza. I know you listen from around Central, I mean, say Zaf right on the corner. Oh, so man have foundation in Portland, man.
Yeah, man, there was a...
Yeah. So Portland people don't really know MAROGHINI too tough then. They just hear about MAROGHINI. So the man is a well-kept secret from Portland. From Portland.
Yes.
But you stay in the rest of the world now? Because I see the man have some things happening in places like Germany and everything. The man global.
I guess so.
Oh, so what going on in Germany?
I was living there also.
Hold on, man. So you're living in Gambia?
Yeah.
And Senegal?
No, I just spent some time there.
Oh, spent time, but you're living in Germany?
Yeah.
That means like everyday living?
A couple of years.
So you're on the language still? Tell them what them tell them. Because I have an introduction. Cassie, you can find me introduction with this man talk about what say introduction? The Dr. Ivan Blood some things. So the man have languages?
Yeah.
More than one?
More than one.
So when you perform and you do your thing, you exercise more than one language or just English?
No, I sing in different languages.
Sing in different languages. Boy, that's serious. Hey, I have another man here now who just listening and him up to something now. This man has been here and he has sat in for I in the program, and this man is also out of the parish of Portland. He also grew up good. Right? His father was a bishop, you know?
Wait.
You imagine that?
My father was a preacher too.
You hear this now? Hold on. The church is here. The church and the school is here.
Dr. Black.
That's right.
Not finished yet.
You can't.
My grandfather was a preacher.
All right.
Wait.
Well,
my grandmother was a preacher.
Okay.
And my great-grandmother.
All right. So the man couldn't help but being a preacher himself. Seriously. So we also have in the studio now, we have 3 more people here, but we give them lick by lick. So we're going to give AMBOKILE, Philip AMBOKILE Henry now. AMBOKILE is a man who do all heap of things so in the world of art, but in promoting what you call now immortal art. And this concept of immortal art is that you must get yourself constructed in a way that you can be touched before you die. And when you die, you can still be touched. How it go? That's so.
Yeah.
AMBOKILE. Yes, my brother.
Blessing abundantly and give thanks for the opportunity that I'm on Black Doctor and Styles and all of the team of Styles has provided us, But yes, I think I was born an artist. Visual as it has appeared, and the music influenced as well by MAROGHINI in earlier days, along with Gabo, to play drums and so on. But in the context of art and what it represents, I mean, we always heard of art as a decorative kind of part of a culture. You paint pretty paintings and it might match the furniture and this kind of thing, interior decoration. But within the context of how I feel it, art is really our lives set for generations yet to be born to come and see it. Yeah? I mean, my life as an artist, look at portraits, for example. My mother and father. My mother was a teacher at the primary school. My father was a bishop in the church, and they have both no more use for their physical bodies. I was privileged to be able to do paintings and sculptures of them. And though my father has gone now 19 years and my mother 3, I still have the opportunity to touch the sculptures and see the paintings that I've created of them. And this is a realm of immortality. Yeah? When I look back as far as possible in history, for thousands of years, what I see still evident is the art which has been created of all those people. Yeah? At its best, our bodies can go maybe 100 and a few years, but through art...
I say about 300 if you take care of it.
If you take good care of it, yeah?
About 300. But you never go already.
Well, I stand to be guided in that regard. But truly, the art that I see spans thousands of years. And as such, it is the kind of front door key to our immortality. I look at Bob as a performer, singer. His physical body has not been around for over 30 odd years. But we still hear him, and we still see imagery of him. And the artists still are existing. We, too, as patrons of the arts, people who, indulge themselves with what the artist does, they continue to live in another mode,
So, Maro, what is the role, what is the purpose of the eye music? What the eye see as like how the man AMBOKILE describe what them think the role of his art should be, or they having a purpose like for your music, what it's supposed to be doing or not doing?
When I do my music,
yeah,
I'm just like thinking aloud.
So when you think aloud, So what do you think about foolishness? I mean, you're all right with that? Or you think aloud, you know, something that you kind of sense and structure and with an objective?
I'm just thinking aloud.
No structure to it?
Just thinking aloud.
So here are like historian now. You're just thinking aloud?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm just expressing my thoughts
in
the form of music.
So is there any hope for the listener who hears this music now? Or it doesn't really matter?
Well, there is hope.
Yeah.
But I'm just thinking aloud.
With no ulterior motivation behind it? Neither to start a war nor end a war, just thinking aloud.
Yes.
So if I take it and run and kill a man, it's all right.
Well,
you're thinking that came out aloud. And when I read it, it says, ooh, slaughter all those guys over there. That's okay.
Well,
because
these thoughts don't come to me.
Say it again. These thoughts?
Like what you just mentioned.
Yeah,
that would inspire that type of action.
Okay. So your thoughts are inspired then? all right. We get into it. Inspired to do anything, because Vybz Kartel is an artist who claim that in music don't have any effect. Him don't think it have any effect on anybody. Yeah. And we in a certain part of society saying that's not true. We're saying it is influencing youths by repeating it over and over until they try to actualize it. So may I say that I know as a man who's expressing his thoughts aloud, you ever consider that could be part of what's happening when your thoughts come out aloud? That a youth can hear it and take up a gun and run with it?
Well, sure, I'm aware of effects that my thoughts could have on people. I'm fully aware of that.
And you just take the chance anyway. They have to work with it.
They work with it.
Yeah.
But I make sure not to express any thoughts that would probably trigger off negative
reactions.
Yeah. Okay.
So your inspiration now, come around to this concept of inspiration, you know. So your inspiration is guided. It don't just it's not guided, but it is guided because you really don't want negative reactions. So maybe you're really directing your thoughts in a way that to get positive. So when you think about pollution, you have a song, you know, you have it. You can play pollution. When you sing Stop the Pollution,
yeah,
you seem to be giving some good instructions. You know?
Well,
more than just expressing your thoughts, you know?
It is still an expression of what I'm thinking.
Right.
But you're free to do whatever you want with what I'm thinking.
Okay. That sounds like mine, you know. That sounds like some man who with demon dangerous in Jamaica.
Well, as I said, I try to keep it positive.
Yes. Yes. Run that one for my cast. This is MAROGHINI and his global perspective. Yes, it's beyond just the streets of Jamaica.
Let us fix it before we all start to cry. There's a hole in the sky. Let us fix it before we all start to cry. It's no more fun to go in the zone without ozone. It's no more fun to go in the zone without ozone. I can't understand why we turning the world into no man's land without ozone. What are we but a danger zone? There is a solution to this environmental destruction. Seek and we will find. Let us get together and let's save mankind. The flowers and the trees and the birds and the bees. Let's stop this pollution. Oh please, stop this pollution. Oh please.
All right, so that's a piece of MAROGHINI coming from the album. Was that Historian?
Historian.
Historian. So that's a Donald Trump would have loved to hear that tune. Yes, because the man seems to be speaking to the environment, you know.
Yeah.
That of our local artists kind of maybe over them head or around them, you know. But what was the response of a tune like this from your overseas person?
Wow. Well, I was approached by UNESCO.
Yes.
And it was actually used. I signed a contract. It was used at a conference in Brazil, a World Summit conference, a conference dealing with the problem of environmental pollution.
See there. So you still...
One more thing, sorry. It was also used by, it's now called NEPA in Jamaica.
Yes. The Environmental Protection Agency, right.
So they use like some parts of a video that I did of this song in schools and all over to sensitize people about the problem of pollution.
You know that on this island of Jamaica here, we're making a late rush now. So all of a sudden we just realize that plastic is dangerous, you know. All of a sudden. And all of a sudden realize sugar is dangerous. And all of a sudden realize that everything is dangerous.
Oh man.
But the environment, no. How the man feel about Jamaica? And it's because you're traveling and out, and how you look at how we deal with environment.
There's a lot more pollution here than people imagine.
There's a lot more
pollution. Yes. But you might see people throwing garbage all over, like from minibuses and taxis, etc. But it is still nothing in comparison to what a so-called first world country produces when it comes to pollution and litter. You see?
But I mean, I don't think it's even wise to be comparing. I think our issue is what it is. And when rain fall here, we have problems that those first world countries may not have.
Yeah.
You know? But I'm thinking that maybe our issue is not the material itself, but the attitude of the population towards cleanliness.
Yeah.
I think it goes deeper than just using plastic and throwing it away through the bus. It's an attitude where, without sounding so cynical, I see a politics to the nastiness. In other words, now, when one party in power, the other people them feel say them finance of the place. Yeah, because them don't have to clean it up. And when the next party in power, the people must nice of the place, because enough of them work to clean it up. And switching back and forth, it become a way of life, and you go into people's homes now, you see the same behavior. So I don't know if we can use government to transform that nastiness. But the environment now, like I speak about ozone layer. How much people really know what the ozone layer is? So how you find the ozone layer, my brother? We're going to find that now. Man, I've been thinking about some serious things. Yeah, to find the ozone.
Yeah.
However, at a more practical level now, the people in Jamaica don't have no hit song from the eye. So what do you think? You think you need a hit song in Jamaica, or you don't need Jamaica the way people think?
Well,
are you comfortable with your international audience? And all right?
I'm not really aiming for hit songs. I'm just expressing my thoughts in the form of music.
See there? So the man have a cultural identity, like them can call you Rasta, or them can call you Muslim, or what? The man have any orientation, that kind of direction?
There's no name for my way of life. And my way of life is not static. So after this show, it may be a different religion, consciousness, constantly evolving based on experiences. So, in other words, in a sense, my religion can change every moment.
You know, the man religion not fixed.
No.
Hey,
It is-
people. You hear that? The man never move in religion. Yes, I go through.
So you can't find a name for it. Can't capture it.
Can't capture it.
No.
Oh. So you don't want it. So you can't get into heaven and hell and them places then. You're out of that. The man sidestep those things very, very slickly.
There's a song I have called The Heaven in Me.
The Heaven in Me. So you say you can give it 2 lines? Or you want back up and all them things there?
Yeah, I need a big band to back.
Real smart. The Heaven in Me.
Yes.
You know, say, I could have write a song called The Hell in Me too.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm saying these are those states of consciousness.
Yes.
But somebody heaven might be different from my next man heaven because me want enough ganja in my heaven, you know. You know that?
Yeah.
I'm plenty nice girl, you know. Yeah, man, I don't want to milk of them here on my belly, you know. Dr. Streets. MAROGHINI.
To dance is to be master of time. His pleasure is to control mind. Universal remedy, cure for you and cure for me. Universal remedy, cure for you and cure for me. Dr. Street is the one you get to meet. Whoa, Dr. Street is the one you got to meet. Oh yeah, yeah. Dr. Street is the one you got to meet. Whoa. Dr. Street is the one you got to meet. Oh yeah, yeah. Memory was a treacherous thing. Souvenirs and golden rings. His life is an exhibition to death. With all those arrows and knives and hatchets, machetes hanging there on the wall. Talking gongs and instruments used for divination. Silent static chiseling strokes of charity. Dr. Street is the one you got to meet. Whoa. Dr. Street is the one you got to meet. Oh yeah, yeah. Dr. Street is the one you got to meet. Whoa. Dr. Street is the one you got to meet. Whoa.
Planning a party, club night out, stage show, a gospel concert, or even a business sales event? Let Styles FM be a part of your promoting tool. Take advantage of our low-priced promotion packages with commercials, interviews, giveaways, reviews, and much more. We have special offers when you mix and match and bundle your options. Contact us at 876-286-9216 or 439-5160. Styles FM for the most effective way to exploit your marketing dollar.
Guess what? Styles FM has a new business number for you to call, text, and now WhatsApp. 518-2399. To advertise your business and events, call, text, or WhatsApp us on
518-2399. 518-2399.
Don't forget, 518-2399.
It's here, people. It's here. It's a massive paint sale at Ramtula's Hardware at 34 Folly Road, Port Antonio. We stock a wide range of brands and colors. BH, Berger, and Sherwin-Williams. Come and get up to 25% off. Yes, up to 25% off. We are open 7 days per week from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Contact us today at 715-5132 or 715-5134. Come and experience the 3 C's: comfort, competitive prices, and convenience. It's Ramtula's Hardware massive main sale from November 1st to December 31st.
Business operators, local and overseas, this announcement is for you.
Styles FM is an internationally known radio network with worldwide listeners in over 120 countries.
From our studio in Port Antonio, Jamaica, to the ears of the people in your community, our listeners can be your new customers.
Styles FM is an economical, efficient, and effective advertising option for your business.
No matter the size of your business, there's always growth potential. Styles FM provides the customer reach needed to realize that upward movement.
So procrastinate no more. Advertising is a must.
For more details on how to advertise with Styles FM, visit www.stylesfm.com or email info@stylesfm.com or call us on 876-518-2399.
Styles FM, the world listens.
Clifford Guest House, sponsor of Metamorphosis on Monday nights from 9 p.m. to 12 midnight with Dr. Iman Black. Located at 15 Queen Street, Port Antonio, that's Titchfield Hill, they offer accommodations for up to 1 month. Call them at 285-0610 for more information.
Jambo, vipi, karibuni katika kipindi cha Doc Iman Black. Kipindi chaitwa Metamorphosis. Jifundishe, elimika na mwelimike.
Time to rise and shine. You know, people think that there are basically two levels of consciousness. You're either awake or you're asleep. And think about it. If you're not awake, then you're supposed to be asleep. And if you're not asleep, you're supposed to be awake. But you know, there's that middle ground. There is a stage wherein you're neither sleeping, but you are awake. We call that state the state of the somnambulist, the sleepwalker. So be careful that we're not walking and still asleep. Yes, long time ago in the valley. How does one awake themselves and make sure that you're awake? How are you sure that you are awake? What a thingy. You don't even know when you fall asleep. So how you know that you're awake? What a piece of drama upon way. You imagine a whole set of people walking around in a state of zombification. But in other words, now we're getting into the point where we investigate. And the topic of investigation revolves around the idea of inspiration. Because we just heard from MAROGHINI. And it's whole heap of inspiration to make all those journeys and write and things. You hear from AMBOKILE producing these works of art. So if I ask them, man, you know, are they inspired? And where do their inspiration come from? And why I ask that, you know, because as a people now, as a collective, we have been exposed to a certain amount of literature. And this literature, we are told, is manifested through inspired men. And the most important book given to us with writings by inspired men is King James Version of reality. So when I tell a man, say, well, the Bible said this and said, I said, come on, don't worry about that, man. You can't worry about it. It's an inspired man write that, so da-da-da-da. And you just have to just draw your hand and you can't question the man. The man was inspired or inspired thoughts. So we get this lock up in a corner thing now. From you mentioned the word inspired, you just have to back off. You can't question. But you know, metamorphosis goes around the corners. Because in curiosity, there's wisdom. And through the cat have 9 lives, curiosity can't kill you. You know what curiosity kill the cat? Cat have 9 lives. Lie them a tail upon the cat. Cat survive. Yeah, man, cat survive. So I and I going around the corner, I've been around the corner for so long that I realized there wasn't even a corner. There was no corner. So, yeah, it's a concept. A con, you know, it's a language, a con, yeah. So, where were they now? We work out the idea of an inspiration. And the book that we get is the Bible. And the greatest inspirer now, you know, in that book is the man who write the first 5 to 10 books. This is amazing. One man now, so inspired that he was able to write the first 5 to 10 books of the Bible. And if you don't believe in that, you're not a Christian. And you can't go to heaven and God going to sin you. So it's this one man now. It's his inspiration we get. So we want to know where him get that inspiration from, who inspire him, and why we have to accept his inspiration. One man, you know, him named Moses. One man, no, him write the book called the Genesis. Him write the Exodus. Him write the 9 books. How him find time to write all them 9 books there? I'm going to lead people through desert. Where him sit down and write them things, you know. How was he inspired? So I said, no worry, man. He was inspired by the Almighty. And you say, okay, we can't go no further. Can't go no further, Russell. It book right there, so. I asked to the item now. Is there a difference between where AMBOKILE's inspiration come from, or where MAROGHINI inspiration come from where Moses' inspiration come from? Where I say, him was such a brethren. When you tell me about inspiration, because the impression I get is this has been the most inspired man ever walked the earth, because him God communicate with. It's him God tells, say, yeah, in the beginning, da 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 da. Yeah. It's him God inspired to say, the world wash away, and no, cause him not there, you know. So he made an inspiration to write about a beginning. Yeah. I mean, I said to the item, no. Your inspiration is different from these other kind of men. The item inspiration not divine, or female higher. How it go? MAROGHINI, as an inspired man, your inspiration come from a divine source that is up in the sky.
Where is the location of divine?
You see, we have to query this thing, you know. We have to query this thing.
Where is divine located?
Yeah, where is this divine located?
Up, down,
or to the sides?
MAROGHINI.
And look here now. This one inspirer, you know how we meet him? Him come down in our basket, you know. This is how we meet in our mind through the literature. We meet this great inspiration man that God give commandments and laws. It's a basket him come down in, you know. Yeah. Okay. I just saw him appear on the stage, you know. We don't know not more too much before him come from, you know. God. So yeah, so how is it now we lock all of our belief and our faith into this brethren here who them say, do all these things because he was inspired. So Garvey wasn't inspired. So where did Garvey's inspiration come from? And if it's divine, does it mean it's good? Because when Hitler massacred the people them, and when Cecil Rose massacred the African them, were they inspired men?
And was it from a divine source?
And was it from a divine source? We just throw it out, you know. We're not throwing the stone upon the body, you know. We just want them to think through it a little bit. Because just because of the concept of inspiration, we are unwilling to query what so-called inspired men have said. And the money are drunk enough time, you know. Them man send a man to war for to kill man for take with them wife, you know. And these are inspired men. And we must look up to these men as heroes. MAROGHINI, they are inspired. You know, so it means taking in a breath of fresh air too. We have two more youths in the studio. One comes from India, one comes from Indonesia. And we want to ask them ultimately if they have ever been inspired, where for them won't come from. Pele inspire me, you know. Pele why me to want to play football, you know. Yeah. And that motivate me to rise above my little normal self, you know. So we know that inspiration is important. Yeah. We want to identify now, is this any source above where inspiration come from? Where above? Where? Why not below?
If I could reflect a bit on the matter of inspiration. Yeah. Inspiration, as I mentioned, taking a breath is inspiration, you know, in the physical context of what ear is.
Yeah.
But I want to also say that based on works that have been done, for example, before I never even met the man. I've heard of a Rastafari named Ras Daniel Hartman,
Artiste,
who used to do some drawings that I had the opportunity of seeing. And there was something that it evoked in me that said, you know, could I do that? I could try do it. And out of trying to do it, it was done. And people were really in awe of what was done. I mean, there's another brethren who came to Titchfield, Stanley Barnes, who was a very good artist and gave me a lot of insight into showing me works, you know, and also in showing me of certain possibilities. And that, for me, brought a sense of
possibilities.
One, to express myself, even if not to earn money at the time, because I was never having to think about making money either. So it wasn't money-driven.
Right.
It was something about being able to express my abilities. So I was inspired to create art. Where it came from, whether high or low, sideways or under, in our hole, wherever it come from, is for me, is a matter of a perception. You might perceive it as coming from above, you know, the Lord. No mention is really made of the lady. If there is a lady, there must be a lady, because I often ask, if the Lord was inspiring, who was the Lord mother? Him did ever have a mother? I hope him did have a mother.
Who inspired his father to have him?
Yeah, you know what I mean? So I want free to think what they want to think, you know. But for me, within the context of being just plugged into the universe in a real kind of way, without even definition being placed on it.
So that example now of the artwork, it just seemed to me as if the inspiration is generated within, but it's motivated from outside.
Yes, it is. It is motivated from outside. And one could use the word and say inspired too, because I can tell you, in even more recent times, there are artists. Like I can speak of Ken Abendano Spencer, who is is a prolific artist, because him still continue. His body is no longer in existence, but he was a source of inspiration for me as well. You know?
You can sit at the ocean and feel inspired.
Yeah.
So you can be inspired by people.
Yes.
You can be inspired by events.
And by the elements.
And you can be inspired by the environment.
Yeah.
So how do we now classify when an inspiration is divine? Because it's that them using ultimately to stop you from asking the questions, you know.
All right, you see
what is this concept of divine?
You see the word divine?
Yeah.
I mean, for example, you and I, we are communicating in the language called English. MAROGHINI, for me, is not a source of inspiration to, you know, because I have always been thrilled by the sound of language, even though I don't comprehend it to say, oh, that word mean X or that word mean Y. But to know that people making some sound and them comprehending what each other saying, whether in French, in Spanish, in Hebrew, in German, is something that really, really fascinates me, that trigger something that say, we need to arrive at some understanding about it, as to whether it come from a divine source. In English, what does divine mean? Do I have to be confined to what divine mean based on what the English suggests it is?
Well, it's which language we're using.
They know that now?
So if we're using English and the word is divine, it normally connected to something
godly?
Some form of godly. All right.
Well, because me see.
Yeah.
Me simplify it in this way now. Watch this now. If a lizard, two lizards have a little lizard, yeah? Don't it the little lizard is a lizard? When the little lizard born. When a fowl and a rooster come together and have chickens, don't it the chicken is a fowl? Yeah?
Yeah.
When a dog have puppy, don't it the puppy is a dog?
Still a dog, yeah.
Well, whatever you want to perceive God to be, when gods have children, the children are gods.
Yeah, but you see, within the context of the English language, them don't pluralize God.
That's why we have to step out of them thing and think for ourselves.
Okay.
And know say God, however them want to perceive it, me I include that to tell them say, God can be singular.
Okay.
God is plural and all-inclusive.
Okay.
Within the context of air, light, water, earth.
Yes.
Yeah, and all are we included in that. So you can't separate yourself from God, and God is you and you is God.
So when a person tell you no, that they are inspired by God, like Nat Turner and Killer 40 White People, yeah, he was inspired. Is that a godly inspiration?
Well, you see, because
how would define say,
watch this now. You see the same God what them talk about?
Yeah.
Them make mention say, him make one place them call hell. And him make mention say him place where call heaven.
Yeah.
So there is a negative, as we might call it, one destructive part.
Okay.
And then one next side that productive.
Okay.
All the way have some moods.
Okay.
We might say a good mood and a bad mood. Some laugh and some cry. Some vex and some happy. So in the mix of all of these energies within the earth, it is all inclusive where you can get either one. It is no bliss in the total sense of the word. It have a mix of things.
So when a man commit an act of violence and him tell you, boy, I'd never make him do it.
Who made the devil?
His mind. No, it's not when you say make it, you just say it exists, no.
Yeah.
You just say it exists, that it is being made.
Yeah.
And I'm saying to you, maybe it don't exist.
True.
And just within his own imagination, him hold on to this idea.
True.
So why we don't get that, when we're reading texts that we get from the ancients and from the plantation society, we have to begin to revisit the language of the inspired writers. Yeah, we have to begin to re-examine the logic that these inspired writers are putting out. Because an inspired writer tell me that a woman come out of a man ribs. An inspired man tell me that.
Listen to that.
And then I must accept that inspired music message because it's coming now from a divine source.
Look at that.
So we have to question whether that source even exists that I'm calling divine. So in other words, no, I'm saying to one of them listening now, we get the book called the Bible and we're afraid to read it. We're afraid.
Afraid for reason out.
Yeah, what these look here, another inspired man now, Another inspired man is John the Madman, John the Insane, John the Divine, who write the end of the book. So an inspired man write the front, tell you about the beginning, another inspired man write the end and tell you how the world will end. So in between those two inspirations now, we are on the plantation. We are slaves on the plantation. And we're in the book. We're in the pages. So when Garvey come with him inspiration, it's like we don't notice it. Yeah. Because his inspiration was not written in that particular book. So it's not valid. It not come from the divine then. Wake up. Metamorphosis. Yeah, Metamorphosis continuing. Here at Styles FM, Dr. Iman Black. And in studio, MAROGHINI, MAROGHINI, drummer extraordinaire, and all of other things. And there's Philip AMBOKILE Henry, artist and sculptor, and all of other things. Hey, if I say the poster them put up the stage show them and hear about such and many more, and many more. The artist name many more. Yes, and we also have these two visitors here now. These bridges coming from out of the Southeast Asian Conference. Yes, and they're passing through Jamaica under the guidance of MAROGHINI, and of course them getting all the culture. Yes, them absorbing all the culture. It's just that when we are here living, we're so busy trying to stay alive that we can't enjoy the culture the way we're supposed to. But as Rastafari, we find spaces, you know, and we hold corners and we hold reasonings to help to alleviate the distress that surrounds us. We're going into a little more of the conversation as it relates to inspiration. No, language, which is English, and most of us are very poor at it. Most of us fail it at high school. Most of us fail it at university. I lectured here for years, and it was a distress to see how the youth them struggle. Them can talk the talk, but they can't write because they don't understand the laws of the language. And English is the worst language to learn. Most confusing language. Here means what's on your head. It also means present. It also means a rabbit that run. It also means a successor to a throne. All that is here, you know. Here. And we're not done yet, you know. So it's a thing wherein if you're not patient with it, it will control you and then you can't communicate. So speech is what they say separates man from the animals. Animals communicate, but them say man have speech. And when you examine speech now, we in the Western world now, we are overwhelmed with English. My brethren here, MAROGHINI, escape that. Because they have German, they have Swahili, they have Indus too, they have French, all sort of things. So I'm free, you know. Them brain don't tie up in English. And what a relief, don't I brain feel free? With the language thing. How you feel when you can switch and talk something in a different thing? How you feel in your brain now?
Or dream in different languages.
Hey, how that work? Blow.
Yeah.
And Jamaica, I say blow.
I blow, whoa, this.
Blow. So you dream in color too?
Is there another way?
Yeah, black and white, man. Yeah, black and white. No, man. Well, this is the English language now. I man spend some time trying to free myself because I say tie way up. And I go into the parts of speech and I go into the antonyms and synonyms and homonyms and all the things them throw at us. Because them say, to every rule in English, there's an exception. That's why you can't tell lie, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, man. If every rule have an exception, you can lie. Because your lie is, whatever you said, that is the exception.
Yeah, right.
And I say, okay. You know, I'm all right.
Wow.
And then I say I work out singular and plural. And then I say man is singular and men is plural.
Mm-hmm.
And I say woman is singular. So it's obvious that woman will be plural.
Mm-hmm.
But then I woke up human. I'm a carrier human.
No.
Let's say something wrong with the language. So humans is what it should be human, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But it's humans. And we don't bother wonder why them
say mans.
Why them say mans, right? That's all.
Wow.
All right. You see, speech now, language, English, two levels you can look at the word, each word, you know. It's either figurative or literal. It either mean exactly what it say, or it have a mean that you have to interpret.
Allegory.
Yeah, that means it's where you want to come up with now, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Which is not the same thing where him want to come up with, you know. So we're going to clash, you know. Because you're not using the literal meaning. being English, metaphorical
Yeah.
and symbolic. So the gone now,
Yeah.
right? It's gone off the ground.
Semantics.
Yeah, so now, within the language now, even the word inspiration, it have a literal meaning and it have a figurative meaning. Today, me come and try to figure out what the word figure meaning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Come and say to me, figure of speech, all right? So what figure mean? First thing come to mind was shape.
Yeah.
And then say, but you can figure something out too.
Yeah.
Which means you solve it. So figure can mean shape, it can mean solution. And I say, them guys have a way,
Language.
Them have a way with the language. My brother call it language. So within the language now, inspiration really means to breathe in and breathe out. As a part of the process of respiration.
Right.
And there's perspiration.
Mm-hmm.
And there's the end now when you expire. Expiration.
Expiration,
So it's a natural cycle now,
Right.
The figurative speech now of the word inspiration is where we have the problem. Because a man I tell you now, so you see what me I say now? The serpent spoke.
Yes.
And I tell you, say, it's not literal. So what is a serpent? Because me know the serpent can't talk.
Right.
So when we're reading now that book, we have to be very careful now between figurative language and literal language. Particularly in the book of Genesis, where a lot of the language is symbolic. But when African people were being exposed to the Bible, you think you have an idea what we are talking about?
Oh, absolutely not.
A cow is a cow.
Yeah.
A donkey is a donkey. And if a donkey talk, the donkey can talk. That's what the book say. So we get a text to read, and because of these inspired men writing these things, we can't question how a snake can talk.
Yeah.
Because an inspired man write that.
Look at that.
Talking in snake language.
That man can
And the woman answering back in snake language. Yeah. How she know it?
Alright.
And then she never start from a little baby, She just make big. You ever figure out that Eve never grow?
True. And particularly
Eve never grow,
how it was that she never grew and she did make out a little part such as a rib.
That is the power of the magic now, and the imagination being captured.
And then fit that under the power of God.
The power of God.
Look at that.
Run that tune here, sir, because too much power. Yeah, Metamorphosis rolling through the period. Healing up all the ones and ones listening right on the island of Jamrock. Healing ones in cyberspace connected to some device to Size FM. And of course, you could be doing something else, but out of your own choice, you have decided to listen. So keep your ear tuned in and the brain active, because the program is all about stimulating the power of thought and centralizing the I at the center of reality. Now, the concept of the I is what I and I will delve into now, because the I concept is what Rastafari has brought to the table, and it needs further expansion as part of our tool of liberation, the concept of the I. But you know, there's also I and I. And then there's I and I and I. So the power of the I may seem insignificant to the power of whatever you think is the highest power. But I want to suggest that the highest power dwells within. So what is it that is within, and how do you find what is within? And within what? Within your foot? Within your ankle? When people talk about within, what do we really talk about? Within where? So you have to be able to answer this for yourself. So let me tell you, say, if you know yourself. You ever hear that talk yet? If you know yourself, you know. Well, in this program, you know, we're going to break down the concept of the self and the I and the various parts. But before we get to that, no, we just want to throw out the idea again of the concept of the Trinity. Because I'm suggesting that the I is a part of the Trinity. But that's not what we get. We get a concept of something that is holy, and something that is sacrosanct, and something that is at the foundation of a major world religion called Christianity, the Trinity. So, AMBOKILE, MAROGHINI, and our brethren here now, these two brethren here, we give them a chance to make a little input, because them come from far, and they must have a lot of things in their own experiences. The idea of 3 in 1 and 1 in 3. As a child of a bishop, the Holy Ghost and the Trinity, it seems so, you know, it's so awesome that we never even try to interrogate what it is. We just hear it says 3 in 1 and 1 in 3. And a man, they say, no man, that can't work. Them say, yeah man, 3 in 1 and 1 in 3. Oh, you dealt with that as a youth?
Well, I wasn't in a position to make any kind of inquiries.
You just hold it.
You have to just hold it, because first of all, you don't want to delve into an area that would make you qualify as a blasphemer. Because the blaspheming sounded or was presented as this unforgivable kind of encroachment, yeah?
Unpardonable sin.
Unpardonable sin.
Yeah.
And since you didn't want to go through the gates of hell, you never ventured. But on coming into finding myself now, that inquiring mind, I start to make inquiries about it, you know, and there were no answers coming from anywhere.
Well, I came up in the Catholic Church, you know. They captured me early.
Yeah, as they have all of us.
Put it for me, you know.
Yeah.
Heavy, catechism and all.
I'm sure you get it in a Latin too.
Yeah, man, I'm going to need them burn. Remember, go confession and them box me and confirm me and do me all of those things. Abuse, you know. In the name of the Lord, of course. So we can accept that. But the Trinity concept now, because in the Catholic Church, I think that's where it's final, has its foundation. You know, this idea of 3 in 1 and 1 in 3. But the word itself, Trinity, from the point of view of definition, it's really a word that comes from the Latin. I know a lot of our English words come from Latin, as most of the Romance languages come. And it really means the number 3, you know. a triad, or tri. That's all the word Trinity mean, you know. The number 3.
The number 3.
Yeah, the number 3. That is what Trinity means. And the number 3 exists in nature as a concept. 3 exists as an idea for eternity. Yeah. Because we've always had numbers, you know. Right? There's no point in time when you can't identify. You can't tell me what is the first number. Okay, no me tell me the first number, I can tell you a number before that. So numbers as a concept are infinite. No beginning and no end to numbers. So number 3, the concept of 3 in the earth. And as I said earlier, no, we can find 3 as an entity working in other areas. And we mentioned earlier about in nature. Where in nature can we find a concept that is equivalent to a trinity, where 3 things are one, and one thing is 3 things? I say, let us begin with the atom. The atom is made up of 3 parts: proton, neutron, and electron. But it's one atom. So I'm saying, in nature, we have an example of the trinity, of 3 in 1 and 1 in 3. And as I mentioned earlier, fire, air, and water. And as the Virgin mentioned earlier, birth, death, and rebirth. What do you say? Rise?
Birth, life, and death. You know?
In other words, no, the number 3 is what we want to look at. 3 wise men, 3 blind mice, 3 strikes you out. Rubber dub dub, 3 men in a tub. 3 sixes, 666. 3 goals, hat trick. 3 finger jack, triple crown champion. Wisdom, knowledge, and overstanding. Body, mind, and soul. In other words, we can look around us and see things happening in a tripartite way without going into religion and without going into anything mystical. There's the idea of 3. And if you look into the building of all a pyramid, look into the triangle now, the power of a triangle and the forces that a triangle is the most stable construction on the earth, a triangle. Most stable. So there is mystical and history about this number 3. But as descendants, as I say, as plantation slaves, we don't know nothing else about Trinity except this religious notion. The Virgin mentioned earlier now that in Hindu, my Indonesian brethren, tell us about what you know about Hindus and their 3 in 1 and 1 in 3. Because you did make a mention.
So, in Hinduism, we have a thing, you know, the Trimurti. So you have Brahma, the creator, Vishnu, the preserver, and Shiva, the destroyer. And then this, it encapsulates the whole concept of the universe. Everything is created and through time is sustained and is also destroyed at the end of time. So in a way, it's how we see life and the phenomenons of life.
The Trinity is not just a Christian idea. It's in other cultures, even more ancient than Christianity. So when we are talking about the Holy Trinity now, because maybe holy is the difference. When they put the word holy in front, the thing change. You get. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, checking it from the standpoint where you said a while ago. I mean, if you could let us run it through again, just to say the 3 aspects of
Hinduism.
Yeah.
So it's creation, preservation, and destruction.
Yeah.
But destruction doesn't
mean an end totally.
Yeah, it's a step that must be taken to take the new form for creation. One thing must be empty for something new to come. No, like a full glass can't be filled. You need an empty glass to put water in it.
Right.
So in that sense, the glass needs to be empty, and that's the destruction.
The Trinity in ancient Hindu, 3 forms. The Trinity is a supreme divinity in Hinduism. And the cosmic functions of creation, maintenance, and destruction are personified. In other words, as the Virgin saying, it's a trinity, a triad of deities. The triad of deities. And it's the same thing the Egyptians would have had within their culture, a triad of deities. Just that the deities would be feminine and masculine to balance the system. So the Hindus have them thing. The ancient Egyptians, long before the Jesus, also had the concept of a trinity. In other words, the trinity exists in world religions. The three pure ones of Taoism, the three jewels of Buddhism, the triple goddesses of Wicca, and the Egyptian Holy Trinity, and the Hindu Trimurti. These are world religions that embrace the concept of a trinity. Now, where we as African people get tricked in the Western world is that that trinity concept has been hijacked. And our concept now has been put on balance because the female principle within the concept has been removed. And the female principle is important for the procreation of the family structure. So if you have a symbolic representation of your family and there's no female in it, that's not a family. It's a gathering of ones and ones. Yeah, you know. So we have to move towards our own liberation. We have to reconfigure what our Trinity should represent us. In other words, the female must replace the ghost. It must be father, child, and mother. But we work with the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost.
Because we grew up in a sense too. You see, within the context of Jamaica, and I would figure by extension the Caribbean, there's a term what them use, you know, them call it duppy, you know.
What them call it?
Duppy. Jumbi. Ghost, duppy, and jumbi.
Okay.
All of them.
Yeah.
If as separate entities, them related. And to put a duppy in the place of the Godhead.
Boy.
To replace a woman.
That is dread.
No, I couldn't embrace that.
Yeah. But you see, it has been subconsciously embraced, you know, because from Sunday school you get that program.
And locked in with a lock, what them call fear.
Yes.
That them say, if you don't believe this, you're going to go get locked up in one place and burn eternally. Yeah. I'm not sure if it's going to lock up or if it's going to open, but it don't sound like you can escape.
Lake of fire.
But just the fact that your imagination now
gets captured there.
Carry in one place that say, boy, I wouldn't want that to happen to me, you know? And all the fear elements that come with it. Yeah. So until you can rid yourself of the fear element,
that will come, you know,
if the
people would just begin to return to a little reading and realize that our story tells us that there is Horus and Osiris and Isis. And who are these characters in our history? Who is Horus? Who is Isis? Who is Osiris? That is a Trinitarian force. That if you need something to represent a family, that's what we're supposed to rely on. A family. And the family still remains the foundation of a society. What we're having today now is a redefinition of what a family is, that 2 males can now start a family.
Yes.
2 females can now start a family. And the babies are now called babies. Babies.
What you say?
Yes, and they will determine them gender later on. So, as a people, there's nothing wrong with trends and fads, you know. But you see, if we return to our foundation of who we are, and we have to go to Nile Valley culture, it's the only place I can think of as a point of resurrection. Nile Valley culture, where our true story is documented, and where we can draw real inspiration to motivate us, to transform ourselves. That's all we need to know.
Might I also say, if I could, that, you see, growing up, the idea of the chosen people of God, as they have been referred to, didn't refer to the Egyptians as being the chosen people of God, you know. The chosen people of God were called Israelites, whoever these people are. And it, for me, as a youth, showed a kind of preferential treatment for a certain kind of people.
Naturally, from the beginning.
And they present themselves as being a chosen set, preferred set. No, the set that were considered to be the oppressors of those chosen people were the Egyptians. And when I check it, I'm more related to the Egyptians. Yeah, from all appearances. And there is a fear that people have in wanting not to be associated with the ones who have been the oppressors of the chosen people. So unless you can rid yourself of that kind of inculcation that allow you to think freely and to come into holding the facts about your origin and who you're connected with, you will never, with all the intelligence that you're supposed to be attaining, never be able to look at it with any sense of objectivity. Never.
You see, the idea about the woman, I think it's so essential. Because within the tradition of the Egyptian African trinity, Isis, the female, was considered to be the essence of the trinity. And she was deified. In other words, now, it's not like, say, I and I struggling with a gender issue about superiority versus inferiority because the woman come out of my ribs. We not come out in the garden. So our female was always with us. So there's no struggle. We recognize each other's strengths and we recognize each other's weakness. And that's why in combination now we operate as a God. In tandem. But we have lost that consciousness and we have it in a struggle now of man proving that him is superior to the woman because the book says he has been given dominion over all things. Yeah. You get the line there too?
Yes. All our thinking.
Yeah. And that dominion concept is another English word like Lord, you know. Dominion is an English term, you know. Just like the word Lord, you know. This is Shakespeare and his King James writers now influencing the translation of the book. So, the Trinity that holds us, we have to reconfigure that concept of a Trinity. And in that reconfiguration, we bring the female into the center of the household. The Roman Catholic version of Father, Son, and Holy Ghost is something that we have to really, really think about, seriously. And it goes to the point wherein we have to also question something called the Lord's Prayer. Wherein we are now subjecting ourselves to a father. I always want to know about this father. Let me say, put father in front of you. Put Father God in front of you and all things will be all right. From 2,000 years now, Father God in front of you, you know. And it's not getting easier, you know. So suppose we move him out of the way. You know, things that maybe the path could have clear. Why is this some kind of blasphemy?
Clear your mind. You have to clear your mind.
No, that's a serious thing.
I'm sure for most people it's hard because the lock is fear.
What does the Jamaican anthem say? Eternal Father, bless our land, guide us with thy
mighty hand.
Yes. Eternal Father, where does the Father live? That is eternal. The same thing up in the sky again. So we're not turning to ourselves for an answer, you know. We're still looking for this divine, not just inspirational, but intervention. Yes. And we have had our politicians now call upon divine intervention because they can't solve our local issues. And we're saying about divine now, is it divine good or is it divine evil? Because maybe it's them call upon divine intervention and things that get worse, you know. You know, because we don't know what this thing is and where it's coming from. And ultimately, we think the solution rests in our ability to think clear. And if we don't learn to think clearly and lose that fear and dependency, then, you know, we can cause a deal.
To bring as well a new understanding to what divine is, or just to understand that divine is also subjective based on who calling the word. You know? Who is saying divine? Divine for who? For when? For what? Is also very much a subject of debate.
Well, here the Trinity I want to look at
Otherwise,
now.
divine come define itself.
So maybe divine, if it means good, it also is that there's an opposite divine. If things are operating in a binary, I am saying we don't need nothing divine at all. We think we need things that are more natural, more than this divine thing that we can put a finger on.
And that don't make natural not divine, you know. Because natural is also divine.
Well, maybe that's where we're at now.
Embrace natural as divine.
As divine,
then you can qualify yourself
as a divine
being
being.
divine.
See there?
And there's nothing wrong with
Nothing
that.
wrong with that.
Anybody who have opposition to me being divine, then
them have an issue.
You have an issue.
Seriously.
My mother was divine,
All
my
right.
father was divine.
So within that context,
and they had divine children.
So nobody couldn't born in sin.
Simple.
All that would have just blow away now, you know.
It's just something that them create. So
But
people
you see,
decide to them born in
them
it.
born in it.
And them try to tell you so you born in it.
And you accept it through fear.
Yeah, I ain't no born in no sin.
Well, I'm going to tell you now, the Trinity now, that is my issue now. I'm calling the Trinity within. What they call mind, body, and soul. The item, may I ask this now, the item of, everybody here have a mind? You have a mind? You have a mind?
Yes, I do.
You have a mind? You have a mind too?
Yeah, I got a mind.
Yeah, you have a mind?
I would ask what is the mind.
All right, good question. So you have a soul?
Yes, I do.
You have a soul too. You have a soul?
I feel I have a soul.
All right, I'm not going to ask MAROGHINI because MAROGHINI is soulless. so do you have a soul, Ambo? What do you think?
Or is the soul of me?
Or is?
If it's the soul of me.
If the soul have you.
So what define the
So you have a body though?
Well, this is a body.
That's a body. So everybody have a body?
Yes, flesh.
Flesh. No. That is what them teach us as a trinity within our own construction. We have mind, body, and soul. But may I say to them, no, just like the first question you asked, what really is this thing called mind? To even claim it in the first place. And is it to accept so you have that? What is the soul? Where does that exist? Is it any different from the mind? Or is it the same thing? Well, here we try to simplify it now because that to me is confusing. But in the Europeans, them give you a concept of a psychology based upon animal history and Sigmund Freud and some other set of people. I want them consider this now, that there's a trinity within. And the first level of the trinity is the me. And I'm saying everybody here have a me. And everybody speak from the perspective of me. In other words, from your born, from your youth, before you know your name, you identify yourself as me. And your demands and your wants is what me want. Me hungry, me sleepy. So there, I'm saying, no, there's an entity called me. May I say, as that entity grow and you learn your name, you start learn about I. And I'm saying that there are these two entities now. One is I and one is me. And there's a struggle that takes place within the self, which is another entity now, which is the self. So I'm saying there are three parts of our being. There's a I, there's a me, and there's a self. All right, we'll soon come.
Do you have or are you seeking a place to rent, seeking employment or have a job vacancy? Are you selling a car or having a garage sale? Then come see us. Let Styles do the advertising for you and you'll be on your way in no time. Contact us at 876-286-9216 or 439-5160. Advertising Style. Advertise with Styles.
This feeling is taking over me. I'm so excited.
Feel the youth
Euphoria.
Tuesdays from 5 to 9 p.m. with the Master Mixer Musical Maestro Digital Team.
Giving you total satisfaction with melodies and memories by the score. With the widest selection of genres and hits. So you don't know that program you turn up, you know. So you know Patek's a full dance, the one you slap with.
Digital and we are party. Yeah, we flawless. Euphoria the program. Every Tuesday.
5 to 9. Every Tuesday.
With the Musical Maestro Digital Team.
Great news, everyone! DIB Block Factory and Hardware Supplies located at 44 William Street, Port Antonio. Now open every Sunday from 9 a.m. until 2 p.m. Stop in and beat the Monday crowd. Get the same great service on a more convenient day. Doing some work on a Sunday, run out of material? No need to worry. DIB Hardware will be there to serve you. Still the #1 supplier in Portland of building materials, hardware supplies, kitchen and bathroom finishes. DIB Hardware, Port Antonio. Now open this and every Sunday. 44 William Street, Port Antonio. See you there.
Are you sick of living an average life and tired of just getting by?
Do you want to take your life to the next level? Learn the secrets of the super successful. Listen to Power in a Half Hour with Coach Mark this and every Wednesday night on Styles FM from 9 to 10 p.m. Learn the habits of the super successful and how to make these habits work for you. Learn to turn your dreams and desires into reality.
You can win in the game of life.
Let Coach Mark show you how. Every Wednesday night on Styles FM from 9 to 10 p.m.
Architects, draftsmen, and surveyors, get your drawings printed in high-quality professional standards. We can satisfy your printing needs. Whether it is for presentation to your clients or for submitting building and subdivision application, make it VJ Printing Services. Whether drawing by hand or with computer-aided softwares, we will plot your negatives and print the copies as you need. We do high-quality white paper printing that is water-resistant and never fades, unlike traditional blueprint. For more information, call VJ Printing at 893-2266.
Clifford Guest House, sponsor of Metamorphosis on Monday nights from 9 p.m. to 12 midnight with Dr. Iman Black. Located at 15 Queen Street, Port Antonio, that's Titchfield Hill, they offer accommodations for up to 1 month. Call them at 285-0610 for more information.
is no fantasy.
Yeah, this is MAROGHINI. Him a leave now, he has a flight to a different place. Yeah, so we give thanks for passing through MAROGHINI. Where I say, just tell me where I say, what is the future? What is the next set of assignments and music? What can we look forward to? Out of the eyes, musical repertoire. What can we look forward to? Because we want to hear something in Jamaica,
Trying to put together a new album this year.
Just so, what is album? This will be your what number album? Number 2 or number 3? Which album? What number would this be? You can't remember because only for them.
Can't remember.
All right, it's a man who producing works, Yeah, some serious works, but it's Germany and Africa is where the I seem to have much of your market. Is that so? Or in the United States?
It used to be Germany. It's now more in the U.S.
In the U.S. And you were there not so long ago. You visited Trump's country, were there?
Just came back as suitcase not even unpacked yet.
Okay. So what was your? How you find Donald? How you find 45?
Donald.
Yeah. That's what. Yeah, we are on the first name basis. Donald, I call him. The president of America, man.
Yeah.
Mr. Trump.
Mm-hmm.
How you find America in your local visit there? People have been trying to run out of America, and you went in and you come out on your own. So how America look?
Well, I kind of ignore him and deal with my mission there. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people I think are too preoccupied with Trump. He has his own agenda, and I think each person should just form their own agenda and work towards achieving that. Because his time is not forever, and he will be a former president one day. So the man is going and doing thing.
Yeah.
Make music and come out.
Yes.
What a life. When I get big, that's why I want to live. Yeah, man, but thanks very much,
Yes, it was.
This is unusual,
a joy being
to
here.
get MAROGHINI out. Because a man who him just stay that kind of way. But in other places, there's a lot of drumming. I'm a drumming, some 15 drum the man beat at one time, You ever see him at AMBOKILE?
Yeah, well, I tell you, MAROGHINI is such a, and I use the term loosely, modest kind of God, that him can do so much things, but him not say much otherwise,
Yeah.
Like MAROGHINI talk French, German, Spanish, him talk some whole African language too, Swahili and all them things. Then, you look upon him, if you check it, you say, can't check the book by the cover. This is one of them.
It's one of these books that you have to open.
Yeah, you have to definitely,
Yes. And imagine now, he's a man who used to go at KC,
Yeah, he used to go at Teachfield,
You better tell you,
Yeah, I mean.
a whole bunch of things, Fortis Kadir. Yeah, man. So, and his mother was contributing a lot to the parish, as a principal in a high school here. And the parish need to know that they must go online and search for MAROGHINI. MAROGHINI or MOROGINI. One of them two spelling there. GHINI. Yeah, MAROGHINI. And it's one of just listen. Just listen. You don't hear the boogie up. Listen. Because the man says he's just expressing his thoughts.
Yeah.
And his thoughts are clear. And so, again, give thanks and to the brethren them. Where your brethren them? Tell me your name before you step out.
Yo, this is Sagar from India. Everyone, what's up? Much love.
You play guitar.
I'm the bassy. I play bass, guitar, some percussion, but just laying the foundation down in the music.
See that.
And my name is Samuel from Indonesia, far from the east of the River Nile, Java.
Yes.
It's been a blessing here. I mean, it's our first time here in Jamaica. It's been a spiritual journey for me, especially traveling with Uncle Gid over here, showing us the side of Jamaica that people don't really see on TV. When you come to in the TV, you know, you go to Jamaica, they go to Montego Bay, and they grill it.
The margin,
touristy place, you
yeah.
know. We almost went there actually today, but Uncle Guinea talked to us, and then he was like, yeah, I think you should go to Port Antonio. It's beautiful over there if you want to see beautiful beaches. I mean, it's everywhere, but I'm glad that he took us over here. And
hey, tourist board must pay MAROGHINI for them kind of work, you know. Yeah, man.
Yes.
Yeah, man. We must have some funding out there. We need too much things for free, you know. Yeah, but anyway, I think it's a great experience, you know, coming, getting MAROGHINI and AMBOKILE in one place with a man from Southeast Asia, a man from India. This is the United Nations, people.
Yes, much love.
This is the UN, and of course, the silent assassin, you know. You see, no, you're not from that man. You hear him at all? Good, that's what he's all about. Silence.
Right.
That's
man
strength,
behind
you know?
the scene.
That's strength. Yeah, man, so we give thanks and travel safely.
Yes, thank you for having us.
You know, just be positive in all things that you do, and as MAROGHINI say, in all things that you think, just be positive. You know, and we woke up again in another time and place.
Yes.
We were playing music last week. Last week or last night?
It was last night.
Last night.
Yeah, we was jamming in the yard.
We was jamming in Harbour View, you know. Yeah, man. You go on Facebook and you see the music, brothers, you know. All right, so I hate that. Run the tune. Repeat.
Who is the one I'd like to know? Do you think it is the right thing that you are doing? Why don't you grow your own garden and stop your stealing? You can never keep on hiding from the one within, the one who keeps on watching everything that you are doing. Ooh, oh, 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 oh. Someone keeps on reaping what I sow. That ain't right now. Who is the one I'd like to know? Won't you tell me now, now? Someone keeps on reaping what I sow. That ain't right now. Who is the one I'd like to know? Oh, my people, I'm in pain and misery. There is a parasite taking away from me. This is no fantasy, this is reality. This is what someone keeps on doing to me. Someone keeps on reaping what I sow. That ain't right now. Who is the one I'd like to know? Won't you tell me now, now? Someone keeps on reaping what I sow. That ain't right now. Who is the one I'd like?
Metamorphosis continuing. Dr. Iman Black here. Thanking my guests who passed through the studio. Philip Ambokile Henry, MAROGHINI, and our two brethren from Indonesia and India, passing through the rock, getting a piece of the culture. But of course, within the whole metamorphosis, it's always about trying to bring a higher level of awareness to the entity that is called the I, the individual, the person. And the individual takes shape and form at inception. Not when the body comes out as a baby, the child is born. That is not correct. Birth is inception. So when the egg and the sperm connect, that is birth. The other processes lead to delivery. But at inception, there is the fusion of two sex cells, egg and sperm. And this becomes the genesis of an individual. Now the Europeans have given I and I a framework that locks our psychology of personality within it. In other words, every individual eventually develops what is called a personality. Every individual. So the Europeans have developed a set of studies and theories, and it is put in a body of knowledge, and it is called personality theory. So the personality theory now is what has been given to us as a people, and we must fit ourselves into that theory. And therefore our personalities now will be defined by the theory. And the most popular of all the personality theories comes from a man out of Europe called Sigmund Freud. It is his personality theory that is dominant in the academic world and in the general population. And so most black people, without having a chance to query it, accept, just like most things, the personality theories put forward by Sigmund Freud. And you ask everybody if they have a personality, they're going to generally tell you yes. Number one, they are a person, and each person has a personality. Aspects of them behavior and them traits and them characteristics now will help to define them personality. And I'm saying now as black people now, we have to begin to revisit how our personality is developed and who and what plays the major roles in defining the I personality, why you behave the way you behave. Why do you think the way you think, and why do you act and react the way you react? So without much formal information, we are told by the way and around the corner that we have a body and a mind and a soul. And we're just told that. And within those body, mind, and soul idea now, we hear so the body will perish because the body will die. The mind, they don't tell you what happened to it at death, but they tell you that you must try and preserve your soul. So you have these three things, body, mind, and soul. Them say the body will go back to where it come from, and them tell you about ashes to ashes and dust to dust because you come from the dirt and all this kind of talk. When you really come from an egg and a sperm. We come from a liquid environment. We don't come from dirt. But that is the power now of the whole story about Eve and Adam and this old garden story. Where once you get sucked into that fable, then you follow the line, you follow the stream, and you begin to have a difficulty now when it comes to your own personality. So what is it about the person that we need to know from inception? And I'm saying now the Europeans give us this tree-structured personality theory. Three structures, like 3 stories, a building with 3 stories. There is a basement, which is called one floor. There's a first floor and there's a second floor. So it's really a 3-story building. It's a 2-story building with a basement. And that is how the personality of the Europeans is constructed by Sigmund Freud. In the basement is a part of your personality that them calling the id, ID. And this part of your personality now supposed to be containing all of the animal instincts, all of the behavior that is vile, all of the negative traits and characteristics coming out of your animal ancestry. Sigmund Freud said all of these feelings are wrapped up in your id. And these feelings are struggling to express themselves, fighting to express themselves, but they must be put under control by who is on the first floor. And the first floor of your personality now should be something called the ego. And the ego now must navigate through reality, make decisions, and hold on those id feelings, control them and suppress them, make sure so them don't bust out. But there's a second floor now. And the second floor now, the European psychologists say it is comprised of something called your super ego. So basically, them tell you, say you have 3 parts that make up your personality. That you have an id, you have an ego, and you have a super ego. The super ego now is supposed to be the part of your personality that holds your conscience and your moral values in the super ego. And these values now are taught. So you get your super ego is constructed and developed by the society in which you live. So they gave us that, and we've been working with that for the last 2,000 years. And the ego thing has become the greatest problem to the black man. Because this ego concept is one that is based upon insecurity. This ego that Sigmund Freud has developed as a personality theory is a site of insecurity, a site of anxiety. So the ego is always unsure. The ego is always looking for gratification. And this becomes the nature of the ego. The ego is jealous. The ego is insecure. The ego wants attention. All of these characteristics now are attached to the ego. So if you conceptualize yourself within this framework, there's no way you're going to be in harmony with anybody. You're going to be in conflict with yourself. Because you really don't acknowledge that you have a self. You talk about your ego. And you talk about your super ego. Now, I have been positing for the last couple of weeks and months a different way of looking at the African personality. And I'm saying the easier way, rather than be confused with the language of mind, body, and soul, which we can conceptualize, let us work with the me. Let us work with the I. And let us work with the self. And we are able to see these concepts in a more tangible way, because everybody says me. Nobody, from the time you're born, is one of the first ways you learn to identify yourself is by saying me. And what the me represents is your bodily feelings. Me is a sort of material being. Me always have needs. Me is driven by needs. Me is driven by desires. So the me hungry, the me want food, me want rest, me want sex, me want comfort, me want security. That has been the basic driving force of the me. But I'm saying as we grow in age and in consciousness, out of the blackness of our consciousness comes an entity called the I. And you begin to speak about I as you grow a little bit older, and you begin to speak less about the me. But there are others who really never grow much beyond the me. And so psychologically, they remain at the me level. Everything in their whole world revolves around the me. And to them, for them, me is the most important thing in the whole universe. Nothing else don't count but that me. A higher level of evolution brings forth the I. And the I begins to take control and to begin to have dominance over the me. Because I have access to a power called the will. And so the me with all its desires can be controlled by the will. But the will is an activation of the I. There is also the self. And I'm saying the self now is a socially constructed being, a psychological and a socially constructed being. And it begins when you acknowledge your name. I'm saying your name is a foundation of what you're going to call yourself. Work with it out. There's an I, there's a me, and there's a self. And I oftentimes speak to myself. I said to myself, and myself reply. So let us work within our own selves. Can we unify the I, the me, and the self? Metamorphosis. Working on the Black Trinity, Black Tridentity, the triple construction of identity within the black man. We are a triangle and being. Me hungry. So me eat some food. Me eat a whole heap of food. My belly full. And 2 hours later, me feel hungry again, but I intervene and say, no. I just don't eat 2 hours ago, so me can't hungry. Yeah, so he say, I am me. Them in a discussion. And the me say, boy, I'm hungry, you know. And the I say, but you just eat. But me hungry, you know. And I say, it take at least 4 hours of food digest, so you can't hungry. So guess what I say? Me no hungry, you know. Me just have a little appetite. So I get a candy bar. And that candy bar satisfies the appetite, and me have to just cool it with that. In other words, now, me want another belly full, you know. But the I is exercising now what we're going to call intelligence. The I is exercising a power that can rule over the me. The I is generating thought. So there is a distinction between our thoughts and our feelings. Yeah, they are not the same. And I'm saying it is the I working through the brain that manifests thoughts. And the body is a source of feeling. But if we allow the feelings to be the dominant in the peer, we're going to have some serious issues. Because feelings just rise and go. Feelings just come and go. Feelings come and go. And we can't, it's not wise to just follow every feeling. So something must be navigating and negotiating feelings. And that is where the I comes in. So the I and the me must have a relationship. And the I must learn to listen, because oftentimes the me have some serious messages, you know. And there are times when the I must overrule, and there are times when the I must agree. So it's a harmony that is needed between the I and the me. But then we ask about the mind. And I'm telling you, so you must use your mind, and you point to your head. And when you point to your head about using the mind, we'll return again to using the I. Then ultimately now we have a concept now called the self. And you hear now that as you grow, you must learn to develop yourself. So there's a me that's always wanty. There's the I that is emerging as a center of intelligence. And then there's this construct now being developed called the self. And the self is a psychosocial construct because the environment helps to help develop this concept of called a self, where you can have a self in which you have no esteem, you have no confidence in. You can have a self that you feel ashamed about. And it must be a combination of how your me appears and how the I think. So I say we have these three forces. And we must learn to listen now and learn to reason amongst our own being. When you hear a man talk to himself, ain't nothing wrong with that. It's an inner communication. But when you talk to yourself and you answer back with a different tone of voice, you need help. Metamorphosis. I'm on saying that inspiration comes from the I. Yes, source of inspiration comes from the I. The imagination is generated through the I. The I is invincible. The I is intangible. Yeah, man, the I is an eternal force. So it's coming to knowledge of the I ultimately will bring an individual to a greater sense of purpose. Because you have to be aware of the self and aware of the I, aware of the me, to define some purpose in this existence. So me, yeah, I, yeah, myself must work as a unity. Because if the I is in opposition to the me, it's war you're fighting within. And if you are ashamed of yourself, then you're also in a state of self-defeat. So we have to develop the self. And as I said, the foundation to that self concept begins with the name. Your name. The name becomes the foundation of your identity in the society in which you live. And that's how people get able to call to you through your name. So you develop what is called a social self. A way in which you even conduct yourself in the public, which might not be the same way you conduct yourself in private. So we have to conceptualize this concept of a self and build awareness of that self. And an important part of that awareness now comes through knowledge of history and culture, of your people, of the race to which you belong to. That gives you what you call now self-esteem. It makes you proud about your own being. So if you are very, very black in your skin and you don't like the me which is that black skin, the self will be in a state of dissonance. The self will not feel comfortable. So we have to bring the thing together. We have to harmonize the forces within our own being. The European concept of the ego is destructive because the ego is an entity that is jealous and insecure. We want to develop within ourselves an I that is confident. And when the I is confident, then no one can put any doubt in the self. Metamorphosis.
Me no call up phone. Suppose you wanna pick it up, it's your business. Oh yeah.
Listen to me now, brother.
Away you said,
contradicting yourself.
Run it Salvador, tell them say.
Listen to me now.
Contradiction is global.
Yeah, contradiction global. The madness taking over. Too much man in a mix up. One bag a mix up. Rasta and a lips up.
Contradiction global. Still good conquer evil. David still struggle lion. Make one wall a vibe, yeah. Too many idolize badness and slackness. Island in the sun just falling in a darkness. One love and one heart where the heart there. Nowadays you no cool if you no heartless. Flashy with a 9 like you lawless. Like justice I buy out a wallet. Well that a 6 for a 9 and a 9 in the waist, then a sentence to life car.
Contradiction global. The madness taking over. Too much man in a mix up. One bag a mix up. Rasta and a lips up.
Contradiction global. Still good conquer evil. David still struggle lion. Make one wall a vibe, yeah. Well Margarita no flankers. Where bullets are run pom pom pom. Who I call them big shots there? He might do it from a mansion. Slowly, like cancer spread out. All got them take out. Politician and gunman a link. So contradiction, run the thing, yeah.
A contradiction global. The madness taking over. Too much man in a mix up. One bag a mix up. Rasta and a lips up.
Contradiction global. Still good conquer evil. David still struggle lion. Make one wall a vibe, yeah. The contradiction is global.
Still a hear us up right there. Every day I.
Yeah, yeah. Run it Salvador, so tell them.
Yeah, no.
We tell them right away.
Hear them talking positive. Inside them not to the top. One like selling big, yeah. And everybody else so small. Two face, two more, two life. Coming like a living two lives.
enough contradictions out there. One of the greatest ones within the psychology of African is that we are told that we are born with a blank mind. They call it tabula rasa, the blank mind. So when you look at that idea of being born with a blank mind, and you try to fit it into the theory of personality that gives you the ego and the id and the superego, it's okay. It makes sense because the mind of the person who accepts the id and the superego recognizes that there is nothing prior to inception of egg and sperm. There's nothing coming forward from any previous entity or any force. Let me be more precise. The African child is not a colored version of a white child. The African child is totally different in nature at birth. And why this is important to recognize is that the skin of the black child, when that egg and that sperm connects within the African movement, the first organ of sensation that develop is the skin in the African. And not only does the skin become the first organ of sensation, the skin is also the first site of memory. So the African child, from inception, is infused with the memory coming through by his parents. In other words, now there is what you call DNA memory. There are hidden memories that are passed on to the African children through genetics. So when you accept Sigmund Freud and his id theory, you are disconnecting yourself from your genetic memories. You're accepting some animal history in your psychology. Within the concept of me, myself, and I, the me is the foundation of feeling. The me is surrounded by the skin. And the skin is an organ of sensation. The skin is also the organ of memory. So the genetic memories of our ancestors is passed on to us through the skin. And remember, the skin develops before even the brain in the fetus. So that point of memory is what Carl Jung, as a psychologist, recognized. And he had to separate himself from Sigmund Freud, because Jung began to recognize the importance of culture and history in the development of a personality. And that the African is not just born at inception, but the African is coming with a long history and tradition and memory. And Dr. Amos Wilson will tell you that the black skin of the child represents hundreds of thousands of years of evolution. The very genes we carry are more than just chemical in nature. But these genes contain, according to Dr. Wilson, the whole evolutionary, political, social, biological, geographical, climatical history of black people. All is contained in the genetic structure. The blackness in the body carries memory, history, and experience of black people, past, present, and even the future. Dr. Wilson asks, what is the past? Where is the past? Can it exist outside of the mind? Is it something left behind, or is it not present in our genes? In other words, the history and the past is within us. And once we forget our history, we are forever robbed of the memory of our political skills and economic techniques, etc., etc. So the point I'm making now with this presentation of me, myself, and I is that me allows the African to embrace It's genetic memory. Yeah, within the concept of me. Because the me is grounded in the skin. The I has its foundation in the brain. The self is a psychological and a social construct. People can, what you call, lose themselves. People can develop themselves. Self can be risen. You can feel proud about yourself. You can feel ashamed about yourself. But within those feelings, there are rules of force within. And that force is called the I. And the I can overlook and ignore much of those feelings. The I rules supreme. The I is the center of power and reality. And it is that I that must be awakened. Metamorphosis.
Now watch no face, beg no more pardon. Enough drugs, money they a cherry garden. Enough individual society applauding. You can ask anybody where them get them starting. But enough politician take a donation. So enough criminal will never see a station. Never see a cell, not even a courthouse. But every Sunday we see them take a boat out. North Coast Resort and car dealership. The construction company, them just don't legit. Usually wash the money, turn it round and hide it. When the kickback them come in, the government delighted. So police cancel operation. Cause no real bad man a go station. Now if you check the situation, a blood money running nation. Come take a look in a Jamaica. Injustice in the place now. If what you see no really face it, then you are the problem what we face though. Was about to buy a next 60 now. Maybe then I never have to be a prisoner. Maybe then I coulda not turned in my firearm. Police couldn't come remand, come me like me run an army. Was about to be a politician too. Maybe then I coulda make any decision. Look, maybe then I make a
all kind of blood money running this land. I want to mention what I hear on the news recently, that the Ministry of Tourism has identified $17 million to fix a sign. One road, one sign. $17 million to fix a sign that marks "Welcome to Montego Bay." What we say? $17 million for one sign. And the minister says it is worth it because it is a sign that tourists see on the way, first thing they see on the way into Montego Bay and the last thing they see on the way out. Sounds so poetic. $17 million for one sign. Yes, one sign. This is the island of wood and water. Whenever the tourist trade is disturbed, money appears from anywhere and nowhere. Money just, US dollars appear from nowhere once they call tourism, and the tourism trade is in a trouble. Because this island now has this industry as the main source of its foreign exchange, which means our people must be, their main source of income comes from being in a servile institution, servile industry. So the condition of mental inferiority is propagated by these plantations. You know, it's so disturbing for me to talk about these plantations, that they have food on the plantation and the workers can't carry none of it home, and all that is not used is thrown away. Those plantations could feed Jamaica with the food that them throw away. So we have a priority problem here, because all the focus is on catering to foreigners. at the expense of the people who live here on the island. So that $17 million, you could use 5 of that and build a sign and have $12 million to put into the Cornwall Regional Hospital, or put it into the medical, or fix the roads around. You went put $17 million into a sign. I'm saying we are losing our focus. We are losing the whole idea of morality coming from the highest places. And one of the places that I want to touch at, even though the sound out of the way, is an organization called ISA. ISA is a governing body for sports at the secondary school level. And ISA now is in charge of a competition that's at its final stage. The final will be played. And these two schools are not playing for just a trophy. They are playing for $1 million. This is the highest level of hypocrisy I have ever seen in sports in Jamaica. Because we have principals in charge of an organization who claim that the boys are students first. And the boys must get a certain amount of grades. Yet they are playing for $1 million. This is unheard of. This is the highest level of hypocrisy. Because when you play for money, it's no longer recreational. It's no longer recreational. It's a schoolboy football with this champions thing. It's not a recreational activity. It's a semi-professional thing. Yet the principals with their double standards hiding behind the Ministry of Education and raking in big money through sports. Yet the schools don't have any infrastructure. So there's a whole rip-off going on in Jamaica at all levels. And we're called out ISA as a prime source of discontent amongst youths. Because ISA is not a very fair organization. Very, very unbalanced. It's because of ISA why Eastern Jamaica don't have a schoolboy champion yet. Because ISA fixed the final in a place where it suits all the rest of other principals and schools that are in the west and in the central of Jamaica. And they come up with this foolish talk about schoolboys can win anywhere. These are men who have never played ball in their life. Schoolboys are not professionals. It's only professionals can win anywhere. So if you demand it of the schoolboys, it means you're suggesting that they are not professionals. But full-time pros playing 2-3 matches a week. And these boys are being deluded that they can become world-class players. And I think that they are being used by these coaches and by this old boy association and by the sponsors, making a bag of money off schoolboys. When since schoolboys playing for money, you're going to inveigle gambling. You're going to inveigle corruption. So ISA, with all this wisdom of principles, is becoming a site of whole heap of discontent amongst the youths. And the youths know when they are being robbed. And they're going to hold it and they're going to come back. I'm going to put it back on the society. So I said to the ISA the man who would say them as principals. You're abusing the power of sport. And money now has become the main agent of your pursuit. So this education thing is a flaw. It's money between boys and girls champs and the Casa Cup football and Manning Cup. Big money business. All the sponsors making money out of it. So why don't we wake up to the illusion that these principals are being deceptive? ISA sports is not recreational anymore. ISA football is money-making game.
The pressures of your life and it tough. No stay down, mama, time pick it up. No bother with the down, full style, strictly up, full vibes. I pick it up when the bills, them, the rent and the mortgage.
And you know there's a trinity for survival. There's a triad of survival. 3 things that we need to have to maintain our survival. And I was coming on the bus through St. Thomas. I hear that some little boys coming from Donald Quarry arguing about what would happen when they get rich. What would they do with it? And the next you ask you, what would you do if you got rich? Would you buy this or buy that? In the long run, the youth said first thing want to buy the house. Because he said, you can't use food and cover yourself when rain or fall. He said the first thing you need is shelter. So within the Trinity of survival, they teach us in the backwards version. They tell us food, clothes, and shelter. So the psychology is that food is most important. And so we're always thinking about food first, and we're always hungry. But if you reverse that triangle, that trinity, and look at it from the perspective of shelter first, then you begin to talk about power. Because it's really about shelter, food, and clothing. That's what they should teach you in the schools. They should never teach you that food first, because with the land, you can get your food. But if you have food without shelter, you're half mad. And as you would say, you can't use food and cover yourself from rain. And you can't use food and protect yourself from the elements. We need shelter. So at the level of the Trinity, it's shelter, food, and clothing. And within that food, it is also your medicine. So the Trinity as a concept exists in many spaces and spheres of life. It's in nature, it's in culture, it's in religion, it's in psychology, it's in all elements. It's also within our own being, the Trinity.
I know enough of them would have want we gone. I know them would have want me gone. Sit down every day and I wish we had too much time on them hands, you know. But why would a king ever fear a boss? A king would never fear them. So what them a go do when them hear this war? Bang bang. Yes, no take tellings, want me no fi say this. Man, we see your farm and gone in and you let this. People mean your harm, you can't tell what a friend is. Grudge you for your paper, scorn you for your pennies. When you no see me gone, forget replenish. Back up in the morning, can't forget the message, no. Avocado, she feel for me, Senny. Yeah, man, banana is sweet to she belly. Jeez, I want make life sweet, so like a jelly. Climb feet, it hard, can't easy, so forget it. Sang the on the radio, video on the telly. Love in me heart, me a spread the catchy medley.